Hey folks, today I'm going to introduce you to Hypermode Agents. The way organizations are building agents today looks a little bit something like this, where they have a set of very smart engineers partnering with business units, trying to extract what exactly it is they do here, and trying to recreate that in code or prompts or instructions or some mixture of all of those. And this doesn't work because essentially we're playing a game of telephone between the person who knows the most about the job that needs to be automated and the agent that needs to go out and do that job. And by no fault of the data science organization, it's just really difficult to understand the nuances of 50 different organizations with 28 different specialties within it, and understanding each one of those jobs and functions well enough to recreate that as a nuanced, effective agentic flow. And the way agent creation should be done is simply an inversion of who is responsible for constructing the agent. The platform organization should absolutely be responsible for tool creation, tool configuration, security, enforcing the right behaviors are exposed within enterprise data, within the software and SaaS services that they use. But the subject matter expert, the person who knows the most about whatever the problem is the agent is trying to solve, whether that's product marketing, whether that's sales, whether that is internal support, whether that's network engineering, whatever that function is, they should be the one responsible for instructing and sharing context with the agent to help them actually effectively do that work for them. And so let me show you how we do this in Hypermode. All right, welcome to Hypermode. So what you see in front of you is Hypermode's agent service. And what we're going to do today is we're going to build a couple of agents, and I'll walk you through how the systems underneath it are working. So when you get started and you click on the Threads tab, you're going to see something that looks a little bit like this. This is the Hypermode Concierge, and the purpose of the Hypermode Concierge is to help you figure out a really great way of describing the agent you're trying to build. Today, let's build a product marketing agent. What's happening here is Hypermode is now going to ask me a series of questions to better understand what I'm trying to build. Great, so what's happened here is Hypermode has built the agent, and it's now available over here on the left. So I've now started a new thread with Sparrow, and we have a couple of ideas here of what questions I might want to ask Sparrow. Eventually we'll see how these become tasks. But for now, let's hop into the information panel on Sparrow. And so Sparrow's my product marketing manager. And over here, I can connect to a series of MCP services. And if you're unfamiliar with MCP services, essentially this is a way in which an external service can tell an agent what things that agent can do on that service. For example, GitHub might have methods for adding code, accepting or changing pull requests, creating repos. Google Calendar might have some services of listing events, getting details about those events, etc. So to start, let's only connect Sparrow to both GitHub and Ref. And then over here in the About panel, I have a plain text description, as well as essentially like system instructions that allow me to fine tune exactly the behavior that and personality I want from Sparrow. And I can also update the model to be one of any of the models available in Hypermode's model router service. But if, for example, you're deployed in an enterprise context, you can constrain this to exclusive models published within your organization. We'll leave that with GPT-4.1 for now. So let's go back. Let's kick off a new thread with Sparrow. And let's ask Sparrow for some help updating our company headline. And so you'll interact with your Hypermode agents just like you would an intern over Slack or maybe another person over iMessage. And you're going to have conversations with the agent to instruct it how you want it to work and to teach it tasks. Great. And so it's gone ahead and found, using an internal tool to find Hypermode's tagline. I want to update this, the complete workbench for MCP-enabled agents tagline to maybe something a little bit more business-friendly. So this is the normal part of onboarding any sort of new employee, where it looks like Sparrow isn't certain where our website is located. And so I might go ahead and share, this is the repo that we're working in. What we've done here is we've taught Sparrow how to update our company tagline. And so we can go in here and check. And sure enough, Sparrow has updated our company tagline with the correct text. And so let's say this is something that we want to do with every release that we do. And so what I could end up doing is coming down here and clicking create task. And so basically what Hypermode's going to do is essentially extract all of the coaching and cajoling that I've put into Sparrow to teach them how to update the correct piece of code within our repo with a new headline, and then allow me to save that as a task that I can then, as a single shot, ask Sparrow to do as frequently as I'd like, whether it's on a schedule once a week, whether it is embedded in a workflow saying come up with a custom tagline for each new user that comes to the web page, or maybe it's just on a webhook or some other reaction. So I can save that action. And then now Sparrow has his first task, which shows up here as this pill. And again, these can be scheduled, these can be in reaction to some other event. And so let's say I've been really enjoying working with Sparrow, but our organization has decided that Sparrow is no longer going to be my personal product marketing manager, but instead is going to be embedded within our Next.js app or another part of the business and needs maybe system-wide permissions or needs more fine-tuning. Well, I can come in up here and export Sparrow to code. Now, if I hop over to the develop panel, I'll see Sparrow is now published essentially as a serverless function that I can then access and manage just like any other piece of code. If I want to inspect that code, I can now operate against this agent that I've built in prompts as regular code. In here, I can inspect the models that Sparrow is using, where those models are hosted. In the agent.go code, I can actually see the system prompt. I could, if I wanted to, come in here and change the temperature. And that's the Hypermode Agent Builder.